I want to make a video about my psychic predictions for 2020, and I don't know why I am haunted to make this video so early. It's only November 10th, will be November 11th, like in an hour or so, but uh, usually when the time comes for these videos, then it's like a whole bunch of images and hauntings come in, and it's like I am pursued by a bunch of ghosts to make some video about the events that will happen. And actually, a lot of the things that will happen in 2020, I've been talking about them in different videos. I had a video was called Massive Deflation, Political Implosions, and very confused and pissed populations, which you can see around the world, different countries. There is rioting going on. I guess some analysts, I think Wolf, is saying that capitalism has really died, and there's going to be an era of socialism or communism or zero marginal cost society. Well, I had a video, it was called Zero Marginal Cost Society and Its Consequences. I had another video, was called Decentralization, Parallel Currencies, and Shadow Governments. It shows the rise of nations that are shadow nations. And then there was a video, I think there's a few other ones. There's a video I made, it was called A Dark Place, Future of United States. And another video I made was called Deflation, Decentralization, and Irrelevance. And then there was another video was called Deflationary Collapse plus High Tech equals Socialism. You know, when like a river starts, it doesn't start all in a huge mass of water, but actually what happens is that the snows in the hills or in the mountains, as you come down on the elevation, there is all these dripping of water or meltings, and they make a little rivulets or little streams, and then they all join in at the bottom in some valley, and then become a stream that follows a certain trajectory. Sometimes very big rivers start like this. So all these trends, all these things that are happening, trying to capture them with different videos, they will kind of become in one major stream. And I had videos on radical democracy. There is another video I had was called Society is a Quantum Computer. Then there's a bunch of different videos on different topics that try to capture every one of these. Well, I was reading a book, was talking about future wars and how they will look like, and you can see the technology is developing. The future wars will be very personal, will be between enemies that they know each other, and they deeply hate each other, and they have very nasty history with each other. Well, I was watching USA Watchdog Warren Pollock and all the trash that he was spewing, that how China is the new Nazi empire, we need to destroy China, and how they their social credit score is like this, and they're really criminal nation. Well, the United States has been doing nothing but damaging China in many ways by sanctioning them, um, by harassing them in their waterways or borders, uh, by by arresting significant corporation heads like Huawei, uh, by many ways, diplomatically or economically or even militarily. And well, I was also talking to my brother. Many members of my family, they're all psychic, and my mother has very accurately predicted outcome of elections in Iran. And I was talking to my brother. He's very intuitive. I asked him, what do you think of United States? What do you think is going to be the future of United States? And he said that the United States is going to do what the stuff that it has done in the past. You know, their philosophy is basically militarism, going from place to place. Either if they can overrun them and steal the central bank gold, or carpet bomb them, it will do so, and then we'll move into another place. And so when they continue with this, they will come across nations that are not defenseless, that they have very good economy, they have very good military, they have very good weapons, like Russia and China. But the United States knows about Russia, and knows that it should not go after Russians, because that would be a big, grave mistake. But it doesn't know about China. I think this is the future of the United States. Like my brother said, that they will get into a war that they will very decisively lose. I had a dream. I was in this dream, and I talked about this in my other video, a dark place. And in this dream, I'm walking down a street. It looked like New York, or a big town. Had a lot of tall buildings. I was looking around. There wasn't a lot of population, a lot of people walking around like me. It looked like I was the only one. I saw in the distance an entire building, multi-story building, like spontaneously catch fire, as if somebody was burning it with a massive laser cannon from space. Then this went on for another minute, and then there were all these sirens going off. And then I saw in the distance that there was another building, and then the third building went on fire like this. So the future war that the United States will instigate and start will be like that. And this foreign nation, I'm saying very much might be Chinese or Russians. They will just set fire to whoever they don't like, entire building, entire Pentagon. They will attack back, and this will be a very personal. There is a United States is U.S. government is a criminal state, is a mafia-like organization, and there will come a point where the foreigners that hate them, they will kill them. There is plenty of weapons, drones, space weapons, even nukes, EMPs that can do the job. And somebody will get very pissed, like my brother was saying, that these guys will instigate, they'll go from here to there, and somebody, they'll piss somebody that knows how to throw a few punches back, and they will kill off the political entity that is the Yankee state, which means their significant personage, significant military heads, significant buildings, something like that. And also, I saw in a dream that many U.S. politicians will get killed. I see signs of that. Well, I don't know where this impeachment will go. One scenario that I think might fit what I am seeing is that there will be a counter coup d'etat where Trump will instigate and kill a lot of the Yankee politicians, and he will become like a third world despot for this place. I had a video. It was called "Is Obama the Last President?" which I believe that he is really the last president in the Yankee state, the kind of people that have ruined the world, and they are the Western representative or the representative of this mafia state. I think that the Trump either will get killed and there will be a counter coup and the rest of them will get killed too, or he will be the one that will be killing them and then he become the head of the new state, like the Hitler of the new era. There was a video I made. It was called Ben Franklin, Yankee State and the End. On the video, if you look at the video on the YouTube, you'll see that all the skeletons or the heads of the skeletons that they had found in the basement of Ben Franklin, which means that this is a state that started by a serial kind of killer politician, and then it will end in a similar fashion. Actually, the New Englanders, Bostonian or New Hampshireans or Vermontians, they are fond of an expression. They often say it in their bars or stuff. What goes around comes around. What the United States did was commit genocide in many countries, Vietnam, Korea, with China, with the Arabs, with the Syria, with Afghanistan. This genocidal tendency is going to come around. What goes around comes around, and it will come here. The war will come here and will destroy this place. There was another video I made, which is this kind of the same direction. It's called Our Non-Anglo Progenies and Future, which means that racially Europe, through intermarriage and immigration, will become different races. A lot of it will become kids that are half Arab, half Muslim, half Chinese, half from wherever, Africa, Libyan, half. Well, in Orange County, which is very conservative county, about a third of the kids are born from foreign men, and the only two-thirds. Okay, then I made other videos. It's about gays, and there is an expression in Muslim culture. It says when somebody commits a very obnoxious, immoral kind of acts or lifestyle, then God takes the barakah. Barakah means the goodness, the plenty, the money that comes in easily through kosher means. God will take that away. And what will happen, because so many white men have turned gay, or a lot of white women have turned gay too, but women, I don't know about women homosexuality, but with the men, I think that they lose their economic upper hand. Because they don't want to live the righteous life. Then they'll become a nation of paupers, a nation of FEMA camp inhabitants, something like that. A lot of them will move out of main cities because they cannot function in society. They have evolved into something unsuitable for living in cities. They will become citizens of the FEMA camps or places like that outside of the cities, or certain city like San Francisco. Actually, Kaiser report, Max talks about it as a human tragedy in San Francisco, where there's a lot of drug use, homelessness, there's a lot of gays. This lifestyle has consequences, and these people, this is where they're going. If you picture entire society that has been sectioned off, has become like this. Well, I have other videos about this. It's called When Elohim Gets Bored. And this in that video I talk about that many civilizations, when they're ending, that their gays are in charge, and also they have greater propensity for killing and warfare and militarism. If you kind of zoom in on Bolton, you see that he's gay, but he promotes warfare, militarism, and he kind of justifies it. It kind of shows where some of the examples of patriarchs of this kind of society. And when you see these signs in a society or a civilization, this shows that it is ending. That society there's going to be no more. After that, this era, after a few years, you see that the society has markings of a completely different society. There is a verse in Quran that says, well, how many despotic and oppressive societies we destroyed, and from them, from their own selves, we created entire new nation. Like if you look at Europe 10 years, 20 years down the road, or United States, the whole population has changed, and it become darker, become more Arab, more Spanish, more, and what will remain, the white population will become like a feedstock to what will come at a later stage. Well, also that I think that when a nation commits genocide or endlessly engages in harassing other nations, they're gonna get that D-Day. They're gonna get payback, and also there's gonna be a violence too, or reactionary violence, or blowbacks. Well, I've talked about this stuff. It's kind of depressing, and no matter how many times I look at it or ask other psychics, uh, I always get the same answer, and it just I I don't want to go there anymore. I have talked about it in previous years and previous videos. And there was a kind of like an animation cartoon. It was called Nuclear War Begins Part 1, and then Nuclear War Begins Part 2. I think we might get lucky, and there might be a EMP attack or attacks from laser cannons from space. We might not. Things might go very south, very much south. But I want to talk about the deflationary collapse, the economic collapse. I was listening to Kaiser Report, and they are more focused on economic or banking or money related or business related aspects of the future. I'm not specifically the kind of psychic that deals with that stuff, but I do have some ruminations about this stuff. But my analysis is more general, is less specific than Kaiser report. But he was saying, Stacy Herbert too was saying that because there is a negative interest rate, many of these bonds that the U.S. government or European governments have published, they're gonna suffer a deflationary collapse, because no matter how stupid an investor is, at some point this investor is gonna wake up and say, "Hey, I'm holding all these bonds. They're really not worth the money I paid for it. Let me sell some of them and try to find anything else that could bring a few dollars." So this is like a deflationary collapse in this market. And the damages or losses are rightfully transmitted to the idiots that created this huge bond bubble, which is the junk bond bubble, the treasury bond bubble, the whatever that they published. Somebody is going to realize that these are not worth what they say they are, and they're going to dump them. So that will cascade other events. But right now, many analysts are focused on the repo market, and the government is coming in and injecting money and buying these junk bonds or these banks that are insolvent, bailing them out on a daily basis. But I don't know. But what Max was saying, that when the fire really starts, it's like trying to put the forest fire out with the squirt gun, which is, there has been so much distortions and so much abuse in these markets that when the thing really catches fire, it might be very devastating. But the devastation will visit these stupid investors and banks that engaged in these activities, and the rest of the economy, because no new money had come in, it's suffering a continuous deflation, which means prices of commodities, prices of oil, the prices of even precious metals, they're suffering. At the same time, there is technologically induced deflation. As the robots come in, as the AI takes over, it becomes cheaper and cheaper to make anything or to dig out any kind of resource. Well, I was watching some YouTube videos on Boston Dynamics robots. I wonder what will happen when these robots hit the factory floors, like almost indestructible, and they can do almost anything. I was watching some robots were doing gymnastics. They were, stocking in the warehouse. Who knows? Well, the technology can create an enormous amount of wealth. Like just this one company, I wonder how much wealth it's going to generate when you replace entire production factory labor with these robots. The, the, the money that will come in is just incredible, or the money that the companies don't have to shell out to make the same thing. And we are really, really going towards zero marginal cost society, which I've talked about in other videos. And it's becoming like a economic destiny that we're gonna have basic income, we're gonna have radical democracy. Okay. Another thing that there might be violence too in it is that at some point the population that's in the United States or is in Brazil or wherever, they're gonna turn violent. They say these robots, these automated systems, these whatever that makes all these products, they legally belong to us. Okay, I mean, you can take some percentage and give it to the capitalists that you adore so much, but most of this money has to come to us. If you don't do it, we'll just turn violent. We'll just take over, and the violence will start like in pockets, different places, and then just spread everywhere. And even if it doesn't spread in countries like the United States, there will be grassroots that we are gonna all lose our jobs, and so we want the cut of the cheap money, the productivity that comes from robots, the cheap products. We want them. Legally they belong to us, and we're gonna be nice for a little bit. See what you do. You fork them over. If you don't, we're just gonna turn violent. Well, usually when in my personal life, when I have problem with the agency or with the company or with the institution, usually there is a discussion in the beginning, then it results in some complaints, and see what the company will do or what the institution will do to amend that problem. And if they don't, then there is more complaints to regulatory agencies or to enforcement agencies. If that doesn't work, then there is legal action, straight to court, and get injunctive orders. It's very nice and orderly, and other people are not less than me. But a lot of people, I think, will turn violent right away. But I'm Iranian. I'm very civilized. I have blue blood, and so there is a process I go through, and it takes me longer to get violent. But hey, this is a trend, historical trend, and also because there is so much internet spying and also hacking, WikiLeaks comes to mind. There's really not too many secrets that societies can keep or governments can keep. It will seep out and then will have consequences. Whether the politicians like Hillary Clinton likes it or not, there is freedom of information. Information is gonna pop out of whatever. No matter how much secrecy there is, the, there will come a time. There is so much hacking, so much interconnectedness that whatever information, whatever stuff that you can imagine will get out. Well, this is the age of the open source, and many people know about this. Well, what will seep out, and I read about this in ufology and in other alternative literatures, really, is that there are other civilizations, there are breakaway civilizations, there are other branches of humanity that have run away into moon, into Antarctica. There are other cities that we don't know about, other technologies, and these literatures, they're dripping out, they're coming to surface, and many people are becoming aware of it. And I read that there is civilizations under the surface of the earth, Venus, Mars. There is all this stuff that's seeping out. I think that the universe is saturated with intelligent beings, and they really populate almost every planet. And if they cannot populate the surface of the planet, they are populating underneath the surface. And another thing that's seeping out is that these alien civilizations, like on the moon, on Mars, under the surface of the earth, in Antarctica, or the Nazis that ran away, they don't particularly like United States government. They don't particularly, and in fact, United States government takes orders from them and is afraid of them. They can do significant damage to Americans. I think that when a civilization becomes more mature, is less inclined to genocide. But I think that Americans have come under attack as a warning in the past, and what will happen is that another civilization that's on the surface of the planet, which like Chinese civilization or Russian civilizations or Iranian civilization, will hit the Americans very hard to make a point with them that if you fuck with us, that we just gonna completely destroy you. The Americans have gotten this message from other corners, but one from the surface might be coming soon. Then the last topic I wanna cover is decentralization. There is so much open source technology, ways of manufacturing, making things that really there is no special places. There's no particular. You don't have to live in Orange County to be able to buy a space heater. They make it everywhere, and they make it in faraway places like Vietnam, China. You only have to come up with a couple of dollars to get that. But decentralization means also that foreigners like Yemenis, they can manufacture really good weapons, pay back or even the score with their enemies. And this is a trend that many people are now watching, that war can come from very far away and be very personal. War could come from Yemen. Yemenis could send drones and kill off military leaders here in Washington, D.C. Something like that. Yeah, this sounds very far-fetched, but it's not. we all have technology now. Another thing that, well, I'm an Israel hater. I want to say that technologically, many countries around Israel, they will acquire anti-aircraft like S-300, S-400, Bavard 373, and these will be stationed all over and around Israel, which means Israel is not going to be able to really have an air force or to attack other countries using its air force. Well, also there is a development of radars, a lot of very sophisticated radars and electronic warfare and cyber warfare. I saw that Iran has radars that can see and penetrate all of Israel, and they have systems like S-300 or Bava that can shoot down anything inside Israel, Tel Aviv, wherever. Will Israel suffer ground invasion, and also, or will it become like a rat hole where it cannot fly anywhere and it's under constant economic and military harassment? I think that Israel is going to be occupied by Hezbollah, but that's just estimation. I have visions of seeing Israeli politicians getting killed, and this is a sinful, criminal nation. And also, I have some visions of many cabal bankers getting killed or ending up in prisons in foreign places. There is a video I made. It's called Yankees Imprisoned Abroad. That there are many American servicemen will end up in foreign prisons. Well, there is another psychic. His name is Edgar Casey. Americans know this psychic, and he predicted that there will become a time when the safety of many Americans will be in question. I want to end on a nice note. I think many foreign nations that don't like warfare or militarism will become gradually so enriched. Even Africans, their economy, their citizens will take advantage of all the new technologies and internet. They will become enriched to the max, and doesn't matter what sanctions US wants to put on other countries. There is so much money coming from new technologies, from China, from Middle East, that it will not matter. Well, Celente says that there's going to be a lot of migration, but I think not. There is predictions by Prophet Muhammad that at the end times, people really don't like going from place to place, because everything is manufactured or made very cheaply, either locally or they can get it from places like Vietnam or China. And they can get beautiful buses and planes from Russia. People, they don't want to give up their lives and go into some stupid despotic place or where they're going to be harassed like in the United States. I think that part of Celente's predictions is not going to come true, or what Prophet Muhammad described will come true. I put the caption, our time is the end times. Well, I read and believe in prophecies of Prophet Muhammad about end times. Well, you should research this stuff yourself too. But thank you very much for giving me patronage. Please subscribe and leave comment, and one last word. Imam Ali, if you don't know Imam Ali, you should research this out. He said, Al-Haqqu Murran. Truth is very bitter. Thank you.